I'm Christine from Pack Hacker. In this video, we're taking a look at the Osprey Aoede Airspeed Backpack, which I've been testing for 2 weeks. Let's jump in. So this backpack has a material that we see on a lot of backpacks, which is polyester, but this one is Blue Sign approved and recycled. It's an 840D and it has a PFAS-free, durable water repellent, basically an eco-friendly water repellent, which means that if you get caught in the rain, you know, it's not going to get so much into the bag. A lot of it rolls off. I had absolutely no trouble when I did get caught in the rain. And a lot of that also is beefed up with, there are fabric welts covering a couple of the zippers where you would end up putting tack. They are YKK zippers and they have cords with these plastic pulls, which are easy to grab. Although I do have to say that like this one back here for the laptop compartment is sometimes hard to find because it's only one and it can get sort of tucked down or tucked up into the fabric welt. So just keep that in mind if you're looking for it. It's really fine. They're really fine to use because of the plastic pulls. It's just the fabric welts. You win some, you lose some, right? So it's a little more water resistant, but they can be hard to grab because they're hiding. Either way, we've got a very just simple Osprey logo here on the front, and then we have a really nice wide and yet nicely padded, not too much, not too little, carry handle. So it is comfortable to carry for some time if you need to, but it's also not so fat that you can't hang it up on a hook, which is awesome. The only other thing to mention here is that we have Duraflex slides here for the adjustment straps. They stay in place really well. Oh yes, and one more thing, obviously this is a black colorway, but if you wanted a different option, there's also concrete tan. So this bag, like the most unique feature about it to my mind is this harness system. It has nicely padded shoulder straps with breathable mesh underneath, and they connect with like a yoke at the top, which I have had problems with in the past, but these ones are very flexible because the padding doesn't go all the way up. It like stops right there. So they're very flexible, and so it can go around. It doesn't pull at your traps or anything. And also you can see it's mounted a little bit down from the top, so it really raises a lot of the weight up. So there isn't a sternum strap, a waist belt, anything like that for added support, and you don't really need it. What there is the Airspeed and Airscape back panel, which you can see we've got mesh here, but it's like bouncy. It's seriously like a trampoline because look, you can see through it. So the mesh is raised up from the contoured back panel, and so it's super breathable, and it's almost like your gear is like bouncing up, like on the upswing of a trampoline. And so it really takes a lot of the weight off and makes this pack feel much lighter than what you're carrying. So as you can see, the Aoede Airspeed Backpack looks like a fairly traditional backpack, much like you may have been rocking your whole life, you know, with the exception of there's no princesses, trolls, or anything like that. Seriously, it has this heritage vibe we really like, but also like you can see how nice and high it rides up on me. Like it is not digging into my lower back or anything. Actually, it's not digging into anything thanks to that unique back panel. It almost, all the gear feels like it's sort of like lifted above me. Now it does create a slight top heaviness to where when you go to take it off, sometimes it'll sort of like almost like flip over when you are taking it off your shoulder. And also it can slightly feel like somebody's like tugging you back a little bit, but it's not uncomfortable and it's really easy to get used to. All right, so now we are going to start going over all of the places you can store gear in this bag, and there are quite a few. But before we do, I just want to point out that frame, at the same time that it's keeping the load off your back, look at how nice it is making this bag stand. It's basically like a little kickstand. Can you hear it? It's got a whole frame going around it. So it makes it really easy to, you know, set next to you or load or unload everything. It's nice to not have it be floppy and falling on its front. So we're gonna start with, on the front panel here, there's this little front pocket, and it's not even really little. It takes up quite a bit of space. It goes down maybe yay far. And so I use it for my phone. I've got some hand sanitizer, some lip balm. It's not really soft lining material, but it's just sort of, it is soft. It's not like microfiber, that's what I mean. It's soft material, it's got a tiny bit of stretch, so it's not going to scratch any of your gear. I had no problem popping my phone in there, and it was really nice to access even when it was just on the seat next to me in the car. We're gonna pop over this zipper next because it is the main compartment, but instead we're gonna go over here to the side where there is another zipper, and it's basically just another little quick access pocket. This has like stretchy material, sort of like the water bottle pocket, which I'll show you in a hot second. So you could put maybe like a short water bottle in here, or really, I mean, if you wanted snacks, you can, this is pretty easy to access when it's on your back. You can sort of swing it around and get at it. So if you wanted to put in any snacks or your phone there or whatnot, it's a good place for it, although it's not as water resistant because of this material. I didn't end up using it that much, but I like having the option, and you can see it just totally lays flat if you're not using it. What I did use is we have this really nice tall water bottle pocket. It works really well for standard width bottles, and it's really tight so it holds them nicely. And I really did like having these tabs to be able to pull it out to push my bottle in. There's also this side access, which I thought at first was for like a handle of a bottle, but you couldn't quite get it in through the top. So really, I think it's mostly if you had a shorter bottle or a can, it makes it easier to grab those instead. Now, we're gonna skip, like I said, the front zipper. We're gonna go to the second one, and we have an admin panel, which has a zipper pocket, which I've got my AirPods and some toiletries. We've got a key leash here, key leash, and then we've got a mesh pocket, a pen pocket, and just a slip pocket where I threw my wallet. And then there is also space here for like a little tech pouch, but you will see once we get into the main compartment that this does all sort of hang in there, so you're sort of playing with space there. Last but not least, we have the laptop compartment, which is very nicely raised off the bottom. You can fit up to a 16-inch laptop here, or there's also this slip pocket. It's not padded, so I wouldn't put two devices, but I have a smaller 13-inch device, and I slid it in here, and it was just easier because it wasn't then all bouncing around the larger compartment. So if you are finding this video helpful, go ahead and take the time now to hit like and subscribe so we can keep bringing you content like this to help you travel smarter. Now, of course, we're going to go into the main compartment, and you will notice this is the only zipper that does not have additional weather resistance. So if you have things that really shouldn't be getting wet, like tech and whatnot, you're going to be wanting to pack them in that admin panel and the laptop compartment. I didn't have any issues with gear getting wet, but I wasn't in the rain for that long. So I'm thinking eventually maybe something might seep in here. It's a really tight zipper. I kind of doubt it, but it doesn't actually have an AquaGuard coating on it or anything like that. So if you are like in a, Southeast Asian typhoon or something, you're gonna wanna find shelter for another reason other than your backpack, but also your backpack, right? So the main compartment opens up here in a nice horseshoe shape, which does make it very easy to open and see what you've got. Beware, of course, because this front pocket zipper is here. If you have it open and you flip it down, all your gear is going to slide out. So always close that front zipper, right? So this is that front pocket, but it doesn't really impact too much of the main compartment. What does is this bad boy here. This is the admin panel. So you can see there, you can kind of see how much space that is taking up. It's nearly the same depth as this, not quite, but it is a lot of the depth of this packing cube that I put in there, which is why then I only used a small packing cube on top. So I did find, like, the main compartment is fairly large. This is a 21 liter backpack, and you can see, I mean, like, there's lots of space down here, but you have to squeeze past the admin panel and to get to it. So, you know, if you wanted to pack more things in the main compartment, maybe take out that tech pouch that I put in there, or, you know, and you can either slide it down here or just take it out for a hot second, pack the main compartment, and then go back and fill the admin panel. It makes it a little easier. That said, I never really had an issue. I had a small soft cooler that I use for my lunch, so I will slide that down there. So anything like really flexible works out nicely in that area because it can just sort of squeeze down there. So an extra layer, a soft cooler, a packing cube or two, as long as you don't have them packed with like bricks. Obviously you have them packed with squishy clothing, but like if you wanted to pack in like shoes and an outfit for the gym, you may want to put in your shoes first and then fill this admin panel, depending on how big your shoes are, just to sort of wedge them in. That said, I did find this had quite enough space for my everyday use for sure, but also, you know, if you want to take this personal item on a plane or even pack for a short weekend trip, if you can manage to live out of, you know, maybe one packing cube and your toiletry bag, you can really fit a lot in here. If you play your cards right, you just have to take care to pack certain sections first and then go back and pack the other sections, which may not be intuitive, but definitely works out. So there you have it, the Osprey Aoede Airspeed Backpack. Thanks for keeping it here at Pack Hacker, your guide to smarter travel. We'll see you in the next one.